Hello friends, welcome back to CCSP certified channel. As I promised before, I will share recording of the classroom lectures or the classroom batches I am conducting. So this is for 24th of January. That is from second batch I started. I will cover some basic of the cryptography and the domain 1 cloud definition in this video lecture that I am uploading. Please have a look and see how I am teaching. If you're interested, you can enroll for the batches. I'm starting a new batch in mid of March. You can write to me at the ccsp certified@gmail.com for more detail on the same. So now move to the content. There will be around 20 to 25 questions from cryptography itself. I will start with the cryptography basic concepts because there will be 2 to 3 questions from the basic concept itself. And I will cover the advanced concept during the domain discussions. So whole cryptography lies on 3 concepts. One is a confidentiality, second is integrity, and third is a non-repudiation. And confidentiality stand for the secrets are not to be shown or told to unauthorized person. This is the confidentiality. So there will be no read allow. So for any document, those are secrets. Password is also secrets. Keys are also secrets. Integrity stand for ensure that the modification should not be done by the unauthorized person. So this is a right operations. So integrity is associated with the right. It does not care whether it is read or not, but there should not be write happen on the document or the secrets or the content. And the non-repudiation stand for the source authentication, that who is sending the data. So I just gave one small story from the ancient time, that the cryptography is part of our system from quite ancient time. So when there was a no proper communication channel, king used to send their messengers or doot to send a message. So they used to write this either in the message in the code word or some hidden ink, and to ensure the confidentiality of the content. So the content cannot be read by unauthorized person. Only the receiver who's authorized should able to read or decode the content. Then they used to keep it inside envelope and seal it. The only reason is to have a inside a closed envelope is to make sure that no one can modify the content. No one can replace it by other content, or no one can make some changes in the language of the content. Let's say someone say that might be have seen in Hindi previously, "Roko mat jane do" or "Roko mat jane do." So there will be a small change in the punctuation marks. There will be message will be changed. So integrity ensure that there is no modification happen. So close envelope used to give the integrity, and there will be seal and signed by the king that used to give the source authentication. So the confidentiality, integrity, and non-repudiation is part of the whole message transfer system from quite ancient time. In cryptography, how we deal it? So cryptography, there are three type of cryptography languages, algorithms, sorry. One is the encryption algorithms, second is hashing algorithms, and last is digital signature. So so if you want to achieve the confidentialities, you want to make it non-readable for unauthorized person, encryption can help you in this one. And hashing algorithms can help in the integrity, so there will be no modification of the content that is being ensured by the hashing algorithms. And non-repudiation is done by the digital signature. So I will cover these three in the following slides. But these three concepts, cryptography deal with the different type of algorithms. So I come with the encryptions. So encryptions are the broader two categories. One is symmetric encryption, one is asymmetric encryptions. So symmetric encryptions. So in the encryptions, key play important role. So just to recap, confidentiality, we have encryptions, and the key play important role. In integrity hashing, there is no key. So key only used in the encryption mechanisms, just to your reference. So whenever one plain text converted to ciphertext, which is non-readable or non-decodable, key play an important role. So when there is a receiver who receives the decoded encoded code, he can decode it with the help of key. And if the key is same, then it is a symmetric key encryptions. So they are very starting phase of the cryptography. In symmetric key used to being used as a initial algorithms, and they are quite old. Even in World War II, that Germany used symmetric keys to sending messages. So symmetric key is quite industry well known, accepted algorithms, and there are few example of them. These are AES, DES, 3DES, but as you see, it only provides the confidentiality. Uh, when you send a message, same key is being used, and it only provides the confidentiality. How I'm saying this, I will cover in the next slide. Symmetric key. Now it is a asymmetric key. So first we understand the concept. When Bob want to send a message to Alice, and just one more thing, the algorithm that will be used here will be industry knowns. So algorithm will be known to everyone. Only key will be hidden to the whole industry. So if they have the key, they can decode the message in any of the algorithms, whether it is a hashing or also in the asymmetric or symmetric. Key is the important factor that decide the whole algorithms is that secure or not. So Bob want to send a message to Alice, then Bob can encrypt with the Alice public key. So there are two key pair here, Alice public key, Alice private key. So one thing you will note is that when Bob want to send message, Bob key will not play any role here in asymmetric key. It is Alice public key. So Bob also has a public key and private key. Alice also have a public key and private key. When Bob want to send an encrypted message to Alice, he use Alice public key to encrypt it, and all Alice only have the private key. Then Alice can only uh, decode it. So it's same like your email address will be known to everyone, but email password is known to you only. So someone send a message, mail to your email address, then you can only log in and read it. So, but you have to just remember it. Whenever a sender send a message, his key does not play any role in the asymmetric key encryption. Only the receiver's key play a role here. There are many algorithms available in the industry for asymmetric keys, RSA, diffie ECC. So we'll cover them later. But just the concept wise, symmetric, asymmetric, we understand them. So in symmetric, asymmetric key algorithms, there are some advantage asymmetric key have above symmetric key. Symmetric key has a single key. Asymmetric key has a more secure and more better way. But why industry use asymmetric key? We'll see here. So asymmetric key, when there is a new user who just added in this, let's say Bob Ellis, and now we have one more user Ravi. If there is one more user, his keys only will require one new key set is required. So addition of new user just require generation of one new key pair, and user can be removed easily. So if my keys are removed, there is no change in this flow. Bob and Alice can still communicate with their keys, but in symmetric key, the keys are same. So if any addition of the new user or remove of the new user, the key need to be re-rotate, because if the user is removed, key will be known to the user who is removed, and he can use it later unauthorized way. But in asymmetric key, addition and removal is quite easy. Key regeneration only required when private key get compromised in the asymmetric key, but in case of symmetric key, it is requires every time when the new addition and deletion happens. Asymmetric key algorithm can provide confidentiality, integrity, and non-repetition, all three options. So all three concept, confidentiality, integrity, and non-repetition, is possible with the help of asymmetric key algorithms. How that will be possible, I will explain later in this video. But the advantage of asymmetric key is addition is very easy, removal is very easy, key generation is does not require, only required when the private key get compromised, and asymmetric key algorithm can provide all three features of the confidentiality, integrity, and non-repetition of the cryptography. Then still why industry used symmetric key? The major advantage of symmetric keys is speed. It is 1,000 or 10,000 times faster than asymmetric key algorithms because of its shorter key length and the relatively simply compared to asymmetric key algorithms. So because of this, industry now using the combination of this one, the TLS that is used in the data in transit case. Previously, it was known as SSL. It can use both symmetric and asymmetric key. So that we will cover when we'll read TLS and SSL, how this combination of symmetric asymmetric used in TLS SSL certificate exchange. So now quickly come to other concept. There's integrity, and last is non-repetition. So integrity, as I mentioned, hashing algorithm make sure that the integrity. Sorry, any query before I reach to integrity. Any query in this one? Uh, Symmetric, asymmetric. Do anyone has any doubt or any query to ask? I take silence as no. Interrupt me in case you have any query in between any of the discussions. Hashing algorithms, as I mentioned that the content should not be modified and thus ensured by integrity of the hashing algorithms. So it is a mathematical function that take fixed or variable length input and always give fixed length output, and it is also called as digest. So length can be a, ab, abc, x, y, z. When it passed to a mathematical function, that is a hash function, always output will be of fixed length. So this is the property of the any hashing algorithms. So there are few properties of the hashing algorithms are it is collision free. This means that no two inputs hash should map to the same output hash. Let's say I give a b, it cannot have the same output hash, and this is almost impossible because we cannot say it is impossible. Industry always say it is almost impossible that two two different inputs has the same output. Second is a one-way encryption. We cannot regenerate plain text from the hash value as hashing use no key. So this hash output cannot be converted to the plain text because there is no key used in the hashing algorithms. So we will not go in deep dive how this mathematical function is been designed, but the property of this function is that it is a one-way operation, is a call as one-way encryption. It is a collision free. There is no possibility that two different inputs give the same output. And there are algorithms, hashing algorithms, SHA-1, SHA-2, MD5. They are with the different digest size. Digest size is this output size 224, 256, 384. So this is the different digest size hashing algorithms available in the industry. Any query before we go to next concept? Okay, so how it works? So Alice want to send a message to Bob. So always channel is insecure. We expect that it is going through internet. This is insecure channel. So when Alice send a message to Bob, Alice use some encryption algorithms to have a confidentiality. But for this example we are not worried about the confidentiality. We are worried about the integrity of the content. So when Alice send a message to the Bob, then Bob at the receiver end make a hash, use the hash algorithms and create a digest of this one. So uh, message that receive at the Bob end, then he use the hash functions to create a digest, and the Alice also create a hash, same hash function and create a digest and send the digest also. So when digest reach along with the
Ravi,
message,
one second. What
yes,
is digest?
digest I mentioned, digest is output. Digest is output.
Okay,
That is a fixed length digest 224, 256, 384.
okay, got
Digest.
it. I missed,
Okay.
sorry.
So message along with the message, the digest is being shared, and the receiver compare the digest. If it is the same, it keep and discard. And this is being used in many industry, many applications. You might have seen when you install a page, when you download a page from the any of these trusted websites, they first give the page and also they give the digest, and we call as hash or the digest. Then we come that our system compare it and discard if the package has been lost or modified over the time. So digest help to make sure that the content of the message is not being changed over the time. It is only worried about the modified operations. So when any as I mentioned, and when pages get downloaded, every time the digest is being sent along with this one, and that compare the we call as a checksum. So we call digest as a checksum in industry. So when we install a page, it asks for the checksum to be checked, and if the checksum match, it accept it. Otherwise, it discard the page. There is a one more.
Ravi, like one
Yes.
question. So how does Bob know, like, you can go back to that slide. Yeah. How does
Yeah.
Bob know that which hash function to use? I mean, he may use a different hash function,
Yeah,
right?
correct. So Bob and Alice already, because when I'm downloading this from this trusted applications, my downloader, because I'm not doing it manually, my downloader already have a conversation with the source and decide which hash algorithms you will use for this one. So when you download it, it is say that MD5 hash download, SHA1 hash download. If you see in download page, you select which hash you are downloading, which hash so I can show directly some site, or you can whenever you get time today, you just go to any Windows page download or any of the page download. You will see that It asks which of the hash algorithm you will use to download it. So that decide, and then only Bob already know that which algorithm he need to use to recalculate the digest. So you try this,
Okay.
and you will able to see this today. So there is one more concept, collision attack. So we have seen that there is a collision free. Uh, there is no two inputs can have a same output, but there is industry using one collision attack. So I quickly cover that. So the whole password based authentication, whenever the password based authentication is happening via his hash algorithm only. So whenever user give the password in our database, we can use PKDC2, something we have abbreviation this one, but that use a hashing algorithm. What is do? Whenever user first time register his password, then we calculate the hash and store the hash value of this one. So next time when user give the password again, we calculate the same hash and compare the hash. There is no password can get stored in the database in the plain text. It is always stored in the hash value. So this is the industry use. Industry always use hashing methods to store the password, and rather than encryption. Why industry don't use encryptions to store the password? Any idea, guys? Why industry use hashing to store the password rather than encryption?
Because encryption is very slow process. Decrypting
Hmm. Hmm.
authentication will be slow.
That
Um,
might be one case, but it's not the right answer.
because
Complete
I
answer.
mean with the hashing value, they cannot regenerate the password.
Correct. Even if it is encryption, someone has a key and he can intentionally or unintentionally see the password. So industry never accept encryption as a password, hashing of the password. So password cannot be regenerated. This is the property because there is no key. Once hash is being stored in the database, even someone open the database intentionally or unintentionally, he cannot see the password. But if it is encryption, someone must have a key and at least has a possibility to see the password. So that's why industry use hash algorithms. Now there is an attack there, and it is many of the passwords got compromised in the Facebook, other social networking sites. How that has happened? Even though they are using hash, the reason is that I so they always ask to use a strong password, because let's say I use password 12345. So even though someone don't know the hash, someone can use the same hash function, can pass 1235 and prepare the hash value, and then they can pass the same hash value to authenticate, and if works, he can log in with your account. So even though I don't know the user password, I can still crack it by brute force attack by trying all simple password and calculating their hash and submitting the hash as an input to the website. If the website accept the hash, I can log in with that account. So to solve that problem, there is a concept salt come. Salt is a similar concept that you have in your food. There is a small length of the variable length, a small variable length that is also attached with the password, and then it become a password plus salt. Then hash function calculate this hash and store in the database. So even I know the plain text password 12345 that is being set by user, I can calculate the hash, but my hash will not match because I don't know the salt decided by Facebook or Google or all these known big organizations. So because salt is something that is known that is at the server level, password can be compromised, but if salt is there, no one can log in with the unauthorized user cannot log in with that password until unless salt is known to that user. And and as a pass and the collision attack is to make sure that text plus salt become a digest rather than simple text become a digest. So no one can compare the hash and get the value because salt is not known to them. So this is the one of the additional to the hashing algorithms concept. So hash, just simple hash value, and along with the salt, it is hash password plus salt. And you might have seen in ICICI Bank and other banks, when you give the password, it appends some extra key before submit. And once it submit, when you try to see, there is a length increase when the password gets submitted, and this because the addition of the hash in the password. I'm going to the last concept. of the cryptography? Anything before that? Okay, so the last concept is non-repudiation, the digital signature. Very, very important concept. And then I will cover some questions that I have seen my exam, but understand this concept very quickly, and it's very important concept. So it is if you see digital signature, it is signature in the digital form. It is same like you submit a check in the bank, you sign it, and then only they give the money, because by verifying the signature. So it is a source authenticity. As I mentioned that cryptography has three concepts. The last concept is non-repudiation, and King used to seal and signed when they used to send a message, just because the non-repudiation get happened. So the signature confirms that the information originated from the signer and has not been altered. Then the hashing algorithm that we have seen here, that play a very important role in the non-repudiation. How? The hashing digest, that is output of this one. When the hashing digest is encrypted with the sender's private key. If you see the sender's private key. So as I mentioned there is no role of the Bob's private key as of now in this flow. So Bob private key was not, sender private key was not playing any role in the encryption. Sender private key was not playing a role in any hashing, but sender private key play a role in the non-repetition. So only place where the sender private key play a role, there's a non-repetition, because private key is known to the sender only. Sender private key is with the sender only. So the hashing digest is being encrypted with the sender private key, and that is being sent. That is known as digital signature. So here the digest is sent plain text, but if this digest is being encrypted by the alias private key, then it become a digital signature rather than called a digest. And the reason is that digest can also get compromised. Let's say I sending a message and I modify the content of the message. I'm sending a digest. I can change the digest also. I can calculate the new digest with the same function, and the digest can also get compromised. Then when someone Bob will calculate it, it will still match it, even though it was not a right message. So digest should be encrypted by the sender's private key, and that become a digital signature. So so this concept, I hope this is clear. The digital signature is digest plus encryption with the sender's private key. So no one can modify this. Receiver verify. So what? How the receiver now? How the receiver receive the digest, but how the receiver will know that from where it is coming. So now the alias public key play a role. So receiver verifies signature via decrypting hash with the public key of the sender, because this is encryption now. The encryption can be decrypted, and this type of encryption algorithms can be decrypted with the public key of the senders. It is just to make sure the right sender, because only the sender has a private key. So as only sender has access of the private key, ensure the message authenticity. So whatever the digest has sent, it is being sent by the trusted source. And the reason is that if we don't do this, like let's say king send a message to attack to his senapati, and if the message is coming from the king or not, then there must be some mechanisms to identify that the king has sent the message, no one has sent a message. This is being ensured by the private key of the king, because king only has access to private key. And as I mentioned this, private keys are secrets, they cannot be shared by others. So private keys are only with the sender, and it makes sure the digital signature is the hash is being digested with the private key of the sender. So algorithms, RSA signature algorithm, DSA, elliptical DSA, EDDSA, those are example of the uh, non-repetition. And one of the important use case is DNSSEC. So DNS with the additional security that we'll cover in the advanced cryptography, but I just quickly explain what is DNSSEC. So when you reach to the when for identify a DNS of a website, let's say you hit www.google.com and you reach to root server, and root server reach to other servers to give you the data. If any of these authorized server get compromised, and it give you the false IP address or false uh, uh, IP address associated with this URL, then you can land to the wrong page. So if the source cannot get compromised, then digital signatures play a role. That source has a trusted source. source use own private key when they send a response back to the your browsers. When your browser hit google.com, it reaches to the sender source, and source encrypt it before sending a response. And you use the signature of this public key of the that source to identify whether it's coming from trusted source or it got compromised and non-trusted source sending the data. So we'll cover DNS in detail, DNS security in the advanced cryptography concept. There is one more concept, this digital certificate. So don't get confused between digital signature and digital certificate. They are two different concepts. So I will cover this quickly. Digital certificate, also known as a public key certificate. So if you see, we'll cover digital, but I quickly explain. All this, Bob want to send a message to Alice. Bob need a Alice public key. So how Bob know where is the Alice public key? And there is a chances that he may use a wrong Alice public key and message may go to someone else. So to make sure the public key of the Alice is up to date, we use digital certificate. Digital certificate, also known as a public key certificate, it is issued by cryptography link ownership of public key with the entity that owns it. So it reproduces the main in middle attack associated with the public key. So we'll cover PKI, public key infrastructure. We'll cover so how these public keys are managed. So when Alice want to send his public key to Bob, Alice do not send public key plain text. Alice send his digital certificate, and digital certificate is a sort of envelope that has a public key and that is signed by a trusted authority, that is CA. Now the digital signature will also come in the picture when we'll cover the digital certificate. So these are two examples. One is DNS and digital certificate is a use case of digital signature. So we'll cover in the advanced cryptographic concept. This is the today we have covered the basic. I just quickly explain how this signing works. So when a data, we calculate hash function, we got a hash. Then we encrypt the hash using the sender's private key. It become a new value. And then we, along with this, we send a public certificate of the sender, because we need the receiver need a public key, and public key comes with this certificate. So this certificate is sent along with the signature value, and this is being sent to receiver. Receiver use this certificate to get a decrypt this key, and then he also calculate the hash of this data and compare it. So this is how same hash algorithms get modified with the help of digital signature. It become more secure. So these three concepts quickly we have explained. That we'll see few questions that I have seen in my exam also, or a couple of questions that CCSP book has also given. But hope no query in this one. Let me know if you have any query so far in these three concepts. Anything you want to discuss or you want to know before we come to the questions. I take silence as note and I quickly discuss few questions, and then we'll come to the cloud architecture. So these questions I will not go for the user inputs, but next round of questions will take one by one. So I quickly discuss this question from my end. So why SIM system? This is security information and event management system is important. So why it is important? I hope you guys know that SIM system is those are the log management, event management system. Splunk is also one of the SIM systems. So why SIM system is important? So CCSP ask just one thing before we come to the answer. Whenever CCSP give, always there is a multiple correct answer there, but you have to select best of them out of them. So when you will read the question, always read all four options, because sometimes you said that yeah this is correct, but there is a better options already available in the question. So first is it helps in performance. Definitely, SIM system helps in the improving performance, because if I have a centralized log management system, it can help. It helps in non-repetition. That we'll see whether it help or not. It helps in log analysis. Definitely, it helps in the log analysis. It helps in disaster recovery. Yes, do it help in the disaster recovery also, because if I have a log quickly, I can identify a disaster quickly and can play. So this type of questions comes. This is one of the simple question in their CCSP guide. So when this type of question comes, majority of the almost all the answer are correct, or majority of the answer are correct. but you have to select the best one. So it helps in the non-repetition. What we have seen in non-repetition, sender cannot deny that he has originated the message. Sender cannot claim that he did not perform a particular operation. Since system is a log management system, that ensure that someone has done a operation, like someone had deleted the account, someone has modified the rights, the logs get captured, and logs can help to identify that yes, sender has not modified, sender has send the sender only has done it, it is not done by someone else. So the best use of the scene system is non-repetitions to be achieved. So this type of questions do a CCSP ask from the basic concepts. So basic concept is they don't give direct, they don't ask what is a non-repetition directly, but they do construct similar questions. We will see the other questions. So any query before we come to the next question. So
Maybe
seems
it is even or it's an event in the first line.
oh sorry, might be typo.
CCSP.
Event, it is an event,
Oh,
correct.
event
Security information and event management system, correct.
management. Okay, sure, fine.
So Splunk is also SIM system. So this SIM systems, centralized log management system, it helps all, but the major purpose it serves is non-repetitions. If you have a logs available, we can trace the that events, and we can identify who performed that operation. We cannot deny later.
So in the
So
exam, Ravi, do we always, I mean, is it, it's a single choice answer, single choice, right? Not
yeah, okay.
multiple choice.
So yeah, so it is a single choice of out of four, there is only single choice correct. And there are three questions. Apart from this, there will be mapping questions. So there will be 5-6 option here, 5-6 option here. You have to draw the mapping and submit. But maximum, like after 150, 147 will be single choice question. And
Okay.
I just quickly forgot that out of 150, only 125 questions being used to calculate the score. 25 questions which still comes, which is not known to you, that it might be new to you. When you see it is not something that has been covered or not, you haven't seen, because those are learning and training purpose. They don't count, but you don't know which one they are. So you have to attempt all 150, but only score counts for 125 only. Okay.
Okay.
It is very tricky, right? You
It
never
is,
know. You feel that
you
your
never know it.
attempts are right.
Yeah, but there's no negative marking. So better attempt all with your best of your knowledge. There is no negative marking. And there will be enough time. 4 hours is good enough to cover all 150 questions. Quickly, so you read it. I would expect answer from you guys. So LDAP administrator has a configure a directory server to store password using SHA-1 hash function. So password is being stored using SHA-1. The minimum password length is F, and the salt consists of the 6-bit. Salt, they are using salt also. Password and salt. If the directory contains 50 accounts and their password, what is length of the SHA-1 digest? Any answer? Just read and give the answer. Any volunteer?
2 to the power 14.
2 to the power 6.
Okay, two answer. Any more answer? At least attempt. There is no harm. There is no negative marking. Attempt. Everyone should give the answer at least.
2 to the power 14, I
Okay.
Yeah, 8 plus 6, 14, yeah.
Okay. So unfortunately, answer is 160, and that's why this is CCSP exam question. This is sample question. If you see the concept again, that's why read the concept again and again. The digest is always of fixed length. Whatever the length of the input, whatever the length of the salt, it does not matter. The digest is always of fixed length. There's the concept. To express out. So digest is always, so SHA-1 digest is always 160-bit. SHA-2 digest is of 4 variety. MD5 is 128. So CC ask you check your knowledge always. They always construct this type of questions. So it is asking what is the length of the SHA-1 digest. It does not matter whatever length of password, whatever length of this salt. Always SHA-1 will create a 160-bit digest. So be always read question twice. Be good on the concept. They always check your concept. Now I jumps to, this is my exam question. This is what I have seen in my exam. So give the answer. How to ensure integrity of the baseline configuration VM image? I just give one before quick theory. So when there is a VM virtual machine, we create an image that we store in our repository, and the use of this one, that will be baseline image. So we can create a Whenever there is a new machine to be created, we use automation. We use the same baseline image that has a all operating system, all required software, all required Java and other updates are available. We use that quickly run our server. So to run a server, we use a baseline, and to ensure the integrity of the baseline, what should we use? Either is encryption, is hash, is digital signature, or is the TLS, which you will use for integrity of the baseline configuration. Hash, correct. Because this is the integrity that's matter. Someone read the content of the VM does not impact anyone. So read operation is allowed. So encryption does not play any role. So we see this. This is the so VM can anyone can see and read the what is the VM content is, like what are the software installed in this VM. The confidentiality is not an important case of us. No one should touch this baseline image. So no one should install any virus in that one. No one should modify the. So integrity is being achieved always via hash. So whenever they ask integrity, or whenever they, even though they don't give the integrity word, how to ensure the baseline configuration is up to the mark, they may give this one. Then always you have to select with the hash. You have to use your basic concept to understand if that will be what is more important. Is the reading of the more important? Is the source system source authenticity is more important, or is the modification is more important? This is also exam question. How should CCSP share source code with the customer? When I'm a CCSP certified resource of the company, and customer ask access of the code source code, how I will send the code to the customer? Should I encrypt it before sending? Should I digitally sign that source code? Should I hash the source code, or should I use the TLS? Please attempt.
Just digitally sign.
Okay, and any more answer?
I think has the code.
Okay, any more answer? The answer is encrypted before sending it. The reason is that the code is intellectual property of my. What I don't need it, no one able to see the code, what logic I have written. Let's say I have written a complex algorithms, a very good code I have written. So at least I want to send that before it reaches to customer, no one should able to read the content of the code. Now read is more important, because I'm sending, so digital sign is fine because customer trusts me. Even though customer does not read, receive it, that's fine. But the content of the code source, because it's source code. If it is a logs, if I want to share the logs to the customer, the content might not be so important. But if it is source code, my first priority should be encrypted before sending, so no one can see the logic I have written. Let's say I have written the Facebook code, I have written the Google code, I have written a complex algorithms. I don't want someone should able to read it. The most top priority is read operation. So you have to understand in question what is the top priority. Even though it should be, it can be digitally signed, correct? So at least source will be, it should be hash, so no one can modify it. It should be TLS because it should be over the secure channel. But the top priority should be, it should be encrypted before sending. So source code could not be seen by anyone else. So this is one of the simple question, and then I will show the exam question also. So so normally they construct the new question, but they just modify some language change. Similar question with some minor change, so your concept get changed. So these questions, there will be second question will be almost identical, but this is simple question. Simple is the exam question. So just attempt this one. The CEO decide to move some of their critical on-premise applications on cloud, but want logs to be sent back to the on-premise SYN system from cloud. Let's say you are the CEO of the company, you decide that your application should, some of the application, critical application should move to cloud because cloud has a high availability, cloud is a better platform, but you want that logs should be managed sent your on-premise system, SYN system. So what is your suggestions to maintain the integrity of the logs? So this is the logs you want to send. The integrity of the logs is most important. So encrypt it before sending to SIM. Hash is before sending to SIM. Use TLS, use encryption and TLS.
Hash it before sending it to SIM.
Correct. Because even it does not ask you integrity, my first priority is that logs can be seen. There's not a harm. even though someone read it intentionally, this is not good, but it should not be modified because it gives the non-repetition. If someone modify the logs, let's say I delete the logs, I deleted the account and then I clear the logs also, then no one is able to make me culprit. So the integrity of the whole, the hash integrity is the most important concept in the logs. This is the exam question. They may ask the same, let's say CEO want to move the same application, but want logs sent back to same system. This time they explicitly mention what is your suggestions to maintain the confidentiality of the logs. If you see the difference, if they
Yes.
ask specifically what is the way to achieve the confidentiality, then you have to go, then only option you have to go with the encryption. In that
Right.
case, you roll out the hashing algorithm. This option you delete, this option you delete. There are two options with the encryption. Encryption before sending to SIM, use encryption and TLS. So always use which is better one. The fourth is a better one. Encryption and TLS. TLS will cover later, but they expect that you read the question properly, and then even though it is a logs, you need a confidentiality. Then you go with this option. So this is how they test your knowledge. They test your basic concepts. So hope this is clear to you. So this is exam question. This is sample question. They already have the CCSP exam, and this is the two exam question that I have seen. Now I come to the concept. What is the time now? We are over the time. Oh no, 9 to 10:30. We do have half an hour. So we'll cover. We'll go with quickly 5 minute break, not more than this. We'll rejoin at 10:03, and we'll cover start the domain cloud architecture. So just to have a quick 5 minute break, I'm going for a same. You just go and join in 5 minutes. Okay.
Sure. Thanks, Ravi.
हेलो गाइस, वेलकम बैक। कौन कौन आ गया है? अभिषेक, विकास, शरद।
I am back, Ravi.
Okay, hello Sharad. Yeah. Let's wait one more minute, then we'll start again. So, Sharad will cover now the cloud concept, the architecture, the need of the security in deeper way. So, it will just start of the lecture now, the main lecture. So please confirm me once if you guys are back. I have seen confirmation from Sharad. What about Abhishek, Karthik? Karthik is also in. Abhishek, Alpit.
I'm back.
Okay, so we have not received the confirmation from Alpit and Abhishek.
I'm back. I'm back.
Okay, so Abhishek, are you there? Just wait one more minute, then we'll start. Can you hear me, Abhishek? So, okay, before Abhishek join, any query on the three concept? Anything you want to know, or you have any doubt?
One question, Ravi. When we
Yes.
say certificate is getting expired, so
Correct.
in such case, when we get the new certificate again, entire algorithm is getting changed, or how it
So,
works.
so certificate is digital. This is the certificate, Sharad. This is the certificate. So when certificate get expired, it's like uh, my public key might have changed over the time, correct? Because my private key got compromised, so I have created a new pair of the public key and private key. So when I have digital certificate is a envelope having a public key. So in your browser, you have a digital certificate of mine. So actually, you have a mine public key in your browser, but if it might have changed over the time. So I said a expiry date of the public key. So let's say after 6 months, you always ask that there is a new certificate available, or 1 month, 1 year, whatever the validity we said, that till 1 year this certificate will be valid because my public key I will not change. So it will be valid and you can use it. uh, you can extract my public key from that certificate, and you can communicate with me. When you send a message, you will encrypt with my public key. But when certificate expire, either the time has complete, or I have I have changed my public key and private key pair. In that case, when you encrypt it with my public key, it will not reach to me. It will reach to someone else, which is not a valid user. So that's why when you say certificate is expired, actually it is a public key that is changed, or the public key that is need a re-authentication, de-validation.
Okay, got it. Thanks a lot, Ravi. Thanks for the
Yeah, I will cover this PKI in more detail in next 2-3 days. When we come to the advanced concept, we'll see how this TLS work, how this exchange of the certificate works. What is when we have seen that we need to change the server certificate, we have to change the client certificate. What is actually certificate is all about? We'll cover this in cryptography concepts. Abhishek, are you back? Abhishek. Okay, we'll start. Abhishek, I think you're on mute, or if you are not back, just join us quickly. Okay, so I'm starting the cloud architecture now. So this contains 5 modules. One is the cloud concept. Second is the cloud reference architecture. Third is the security concept related to the cloud. Fourth is the design principles of the cloud, and fifth is a evaluate cloud service providers. So this is the bigger overview of this domain one, and each these modules also have some modules. So module 1, which is the cloud concept, that has a 4 modules: definition, roles, responsibility, characteristics and building blocks. So we'll cover now one by one. So what is cloud? So there are two main organizations. One is NIST and one is ISO. They have given their definition. The definition we'll cover now in 2 slides. That's not important. Definition is not important. CCSP never asked what is the NIST definition, what is the IC definition. But the output of that is important, that I will cover in the next slide. So first thing, that NIST is a US federal non-regulatory federal agency in the US Department of the Commerce. And all the certificates, whether it's the IC score, CCSP, CISP, they are more tilted toward the US and Europe. So they will give the definition, or they will ask the more laws or more questions related to their boundary or their jurisdictions. So we will cover more NIST, ISC in this course content. So the important part is this number. So all the definitions, certifications have number, though it is not important to remember the number, but it is good to have knowing this one, because sometimes they ask the matching which is incorrect, and if you know some number is familiar to you, that helps to correct the question. So cloud is, what is cloud? What is cloud computing actually? It is ambiguous, convenient, on-demand network access of the shared pool, and some that provide rapid provisioning, release. You read it. That's not important to remember. Just read it quickly, then we go to the next definition. So Abhishek, have you joined back? Hello. Abhishek, are you in mute? So this is quick definition of the cloud computing according to NIST. Okay, so this is definition by ISO. The number is 17788, the definition name of the cloud computing. So they have given different definitions. Just quick reading, you can create little also, but there's not something to remember. Just remember that NIST has given 800-145 and ISC number is 17788. 2 times 7, 2 times 8. The definition. So if you ask what is IEC 17788, it's a definition of the cloud computing. So now we come to the comparison. This is most important, and this is something to remember. So cloud has some characteristics, and those are defined by NIST and ISO. So NIST defined the 5 cloud characteristics. One is a broad network access. Second is on-demand self-service. Third is resource pooling. Fourth is rapid elasticity. And fifth is major service. We'll see them one by one. But important to see this. Same characteristics defined by ISO, but they have given 6 characteristics. Broad network access is common. On-demand self-service is common. Resource pooling is common. Rapid elasticity has a scalability, has an additional keyword. Major service is common, and multi-tenancy. They sometimes ask which of the characteristics is not defined by ISO or not by NIST. They may give multi-tenancy. It is defined by ISO. So they may ask, but they more ask the application of this one. So we'll see the questions also. But I hope that's clear. The NIST has a 5 characteristics and ISO has a 6 characteristics. I will cover them one by one. So before this, we cover this. So there are 5 characteristics for NIS. One is resource pooling, if you see. One is resource pooling, and then 4 others. So the building block of all this cloud is resource pooling. What is resource pooling we'll cover, but resource pooling is a baseline. Above that, the broad network access, rapid elasticity, major service, on-demand self-service, they are above the resource pooling. So this is the most essential characteristics of the cloud, that the resources are being pulled, and there is a pool of the resources. Above this, remaining 5 characteristics are there. There are 2 models that they ask interchangeably. So just understand the difference. This is a deployment model. This is a service model. Understand the difference. The IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service, they are the service models. They are not the deployment models. So either you can go to CSP and ask for just a account in their software that is built by them, like Fusion SaaS developed by Oracle, SCM Fuser SCM is developed by Oracle. You can ask licensing based that in contract that you just get a login and password of the accounts, and you charge based on the number of accounts you use. This is SaaS based one. PaaS, you need not only is a developer platform, so you need a infrastructure, OS and others are installed. You will install your application, custom application on the platform. There's a PaaS one, and if you need a just a baseline configuration, you will install your own OS. You will create your VM image there. You will install, then you will write your code there. It is a IaaS based. All three are service models. They are the deployment models. There are 4 deployment models: public, private, hybrid, and community. So I start with the private. We'll cover them again in detail. Private is that is owned by one person, one company, and they're being used by them only. So it can be on cloud, it can be on premise also. So there can be a private system, private their data center. They can have a private cloud, or they can be a cloud hosted by the service provider. Public, in opposite, it is always on cloud. It is being used by multiple user. It is cheapest. Public cloud is cheapest, whereas a private cloud is has a maximum control, but is most costlier. It has a you have the less control because it is used by multiple. It is like a bus. You have a one seat in the bus. It is cheaper, but you don't have any control. बस को कहाँ रुकना है, कहाँ चलाना है. Private is your own vehicle. You can manage. You can stop it anywhere. You can manage it according to your needs, but it's highly costlier. There are 2 more mode: hybrid and community. So I come with the community first. Community is a sort of cloud, can be public, can be private, but used by a particular community only. So normally it is public cloud. So let's say insurance community have a automobile community. So they have a different needs of the cloud. The reason is that they might need a different type of softwares provided by the cloud. They would have a different regulatory requirement. They would need a different type of services. So rather than giving the general service, they can customize the service, and that is known as community cloud. So community cloud is being used by a particular community only, and they have features or the products available, usable to the community only. So community cloud is sort of a public cloud, but only limited features related to that community. It is relatively cheaper than private cloud, but costlier than public cloud. Okay, so it's like school bus. So school bus is a community. So it is only for the students of the school, but definitely it is not available for public. It is a bus, but still it is for only school students. Now come the hybrid cloud and the multi-cloud. There are 2 more concepts. Hybrid cloud is any combination of all 3. Let's say public plus community, private plus community, private plus public, on-premise. There is one more model is on-premise. On-premise plus private, on-premise plus public. They are called as a hybrid cloud. So there is no separate cloud actually. Hybrid cloud is a combination of one of the deployment models, two models out of on-premise, and 3 model together become a hybrid cloud. There is a multi-cloud. These days it is quite famous because large customer use depend on the multiple clouds. So some customer use Azure cloud also and Oracle cloud also, because Azure gives good features for their .NET applications, where the Oracle gives good price and the support for their database. So if there is a two or more public clouds are involved, it is known as a hybrid cloud. So read the definition properly, understand them it. Hybrid cloud is a combination of two or more public cloud. It's not a two or more private cloud. It is not two or more community clouds. Two or more public cloud is not known as a multi-cloud, but combination of any of these known as a hybrid cloud. So this is the difference. 3 model of deployment and the 5 most important cloud characteristics we have seen. Now we will see these characteristics one by one. And why the security is important, we'll see also there. First is on-demand self-service that we have seen. So one of the characteristics is on-demand self-service. So when I used to previously, when there was no cloud environment was there, when I used to have a need of a new server, I used to go make a order request, it get delivered. I accept the that hardware, install the software, and start using it. It was highly manual intervention was there previously when we used to. You need a new server and new resources, new database, new hard disk. So there was a need of human intervention. But now the cloud, because of its API based and automation based, that you can use any, you can create any new resource, whether it is a VM or object storage or database, without any human interactions. So it is normally through web-based self-service portal. Management console is there. You can go log in and you can spin up a machine. You can create a new object storage this way. So the on-demand self-service give the ease of use, and you can create more resources in very small fraction of the time. But again, each coin of the there are two sides of the coins. The feature can become a curse when they are not managed properly. So let's say you have a very ease to use them, you spin up machine quickly for testing purpose, and since it is very easy to create new objects, new resources, you may have a situation over the time that many of the resources are not being used in quite long time. Unnecessary billing is coming, and they are giving the wider surface of attack, because those resources, those are not used, they are not patched also, they are orphans resources and can be attacked by the attackers. So each characteristic has a advantage and disadvantage. The security architects is required to understand them and understand how to control this. So on-demand sales service is good features. It's good to have your speed up your work, but same time uncontrolled sales service may lead to a resources those are not being used and increase the attack surface for the attackers. The second characteristic is broad network access. So cloud is can be accessible over internet from different client heterogeneous platforms like mobile, different locations, different devices. So it make them life easy. Like your customer can be lies on India, can be in US, can be in Europe. They can access your resources. Previously, when there was used to a on-premise system, there was only need a particular VPN, particular intranet to be connected. But now you can connect with any of the device, any of the locations. So this is the characteristics of the cloud that make it more useful. But again, I said there is a disadvantage that if it is accessible over internet, then it is prone to attack globally. You can be get attacked from China, you can get attacked from South Korea, because you are accessible over internet. So tight security policy, security lists, network security groups are required. Ingress, egress rules to be defined in such a way that there is a control axis. Even though it is a broad network access, it is controlled, and you know who is accessing, what is the IP address allow, what is the port allow. You should be aware about this, and this how the security expert or security architect role play here. So all the characteristics need to be controlled, otherwise they have a disadvantage. That's how the CCSP expect you to do this. Any query before we go to next one? Abhishek, have you joined back?
Yeah, I'm joined back.
When did you join? I think, did you miss anything?
No. I joined after you called just.
Oh, okay, that's great. So the next concept, the two characteristics are clear. the broad network access, and the self-service. So all this has some disadvantage. Now the resource pooling. So as I mentioned, this is the building block of the cloud. All the cloud concepts are built upon this only. So if the resource pooling is there, then only whole cloud is there. What is resource pooling? So it is like, it is same concept like I have a limited money. I cannot purchase everything. If I have a marriage in my home, uh, one option is either I uh, take community hall on the rent, I take that catering on the contract, and everything. Rather than I purchase everything, I can go to the market and have a on the contractual basis, on the need basis. That how much, how many days? Let's say 2 days I will use your resources, your banquet hall, your chairs, your sherwanis and others. I will pay rent rather than I purchase them. So it is a resource pooling. So there are many the CSP, the cloud provider like Oracle, Google, they have enough money to purchase them in bulk. So they have purchased CPU in the bulk. They have purchased memory in the bulk. They have all the resources in the because they have money. Now they will rent you based on your need. So they have created the pool of the resources because not all the resources will be used in one time. Some will use, let's say some will use CPUs and few set of the memories. Some will use other set of memories, and if they have a pool, they can rent it them out based on their need, and they can earn money from this one. So it is a rather than it is a capital incentive for you, it become a more a rented based or operation incentive. So you whatever operation you do, whatever users you have, like you have a high demand because of the some sale going on, or because you need a more CPU, more resources, rather than you purchase it, you rent it for 3 days, 2 days, till the time you need, and then you release them. So resource pooling is a set of resources that CSP is providing. It is a physical resource actually, all the physical, and virtually they are assigning to you based on your need. This is how the resource pooling concept. So all the cloud is based on the resource pooling concept only. They are able to earn money because they have enough money to purchase all in bulk, and they will give you on the rented basis. The fourth characteristic is rapid elasticity, because resources they are being purchased by them will be not be in a single location. Oracle Cloud has a 40 different regions where they have purchased the data centers and their resources inside the data centers. So they are the different geographical locations, and based on your demand need, you can spin up new machine, you can spin up the new resources. So there are two concepts: the self-service and rapid elasticity. They are very close but very important to understand because CCSP asks questions on the concept wise. So when you can resource when can resources are provisioned and released on demand, that is known as a rapid elasticity concept. Self-service is you do this yourself. It is not demand based, correct? Self-service, like I need a resource, I can do it my own. This concept is known as self-service. But the resources I can provision and release on demand, like say there is a peak hours demand, automated, it can add a new VM. If there's a threshold reach, it can add a new memory, then it can release it them when there is a no traffic. So this is automated on demand management, that is known as rapid elasticity. So it has advantage, like when there is a let's say there's a cricket match going on in India Pakistan, there is a high need of the more resources because you are a video you are a website like Hotstar. There are more viewers now. There will be no new resources will be added immediately, but when there will be a match over, resources will be released. So this is the rapid elasticity. But the disadvantage of this concept is that sometimes the resources may get provisioned in the area which is different geographical location. Let's say my new resource get added, one free resource available in China. So even though this broadcasting is not allowed to view in the China, it is only allowed in India because of the government norms. Even though one new resource get added in China, you will be compliant in the Chinese government, and you may be asked legalized on this one because your resources are getting automated triggers, automated provision based on the available. There is a resource pool. So next resource pool nearby is available in China or South Korea. So you may get a resource in South Korea, China, and you may get a legal problem later. So you should understand this concept also has some legal or some obligations associated. The last in the next one is the last one is the measured service. So resources that are used, there is a billing concept there. You whatever the users you have, they are being billed, and you need to pay them on the monthly or whatever the contract you have. So this is a very good concept because you know what is your bill in prior, and you plan accordingly, and then you the service this features give you the approximate amount that you need to pay in prior, and later you pay accordingly the users you have. So this is the last characteristic of the cloud. Now one more characteristic, there's multi-cloud mentioned in the ISC definition. So it is not a different concept. It's a part of the resource pooling also. Sometimes say multi-tenancy is a concept part of which characteristic of the cloud. It is a resource pooling because resources are pooled, and because of this multiple tenant can reside. So they are logically separated. Their data is still on the same server, the same database, same machine, same physical data center, but they are logical separated. They looks like that they have a different environment altogether. So multi-tenancy is that concept, but as I mentioned this, multi-tenancy is not a new concept. It's combined of this existing rapid elasticity concept. Now I quickly cover this slide. We almost end of the time today. Then we will discuss it again. But there is approximate 1 to 2 questions comes from this concept. We'll see the questions on this one, and there will be, this is very important that we'll cover tomorrow. There will be one question from this slide itself, but I come to 1 or 2 questions quickly. So before we close, we have some idea that how the questions being asked from this concept. Yeah, so this is the activity. So just read quickly, then we'll see regarding the 5. Okay, we'll wait for your. I'm not reading this. We'll ask your answer. So just read and give the answer to me. So there are 5 questions, 6 questions will go alphabetically. That will be better. So first will
D,
be
D.
okay. So I was better. I will ask question one by one. So who's answering this one? Is it
Sharad Desai.
So Sharad, this is for you. So what is your answer, Sharad?
D.
D. Okay. This wrong answer. Any other attempt, guys? Now you
Okay.
can ask. A, correct. So if you see what resource pooling is, a pool created by a provider. So service provider aggregate computing power bandwidth for use by customer. Now dynamic drive resource allocation. What I have said this is the rapid elasticity. So dynamically a resource being allocated, it is concept of the rapid elasticity that I mentioned that. So we should be very sound on the concept because so concept wise rapid elasticity is dynamically a resource is needed, it is being assigned. And when on demand is a resource is needed, it is assigned. This is self-service. This is the rapid elasticity that you mentioned, Sharad.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, so we go to next question. So Sharad has answered. We'll ask the next questions to the next participant. So this is the first one now. So this is now to let's go to alphabetical. So it is with Arpit. Will be the second. Arpit, give the answer of this one.
Sure. Related to the first question. It's a rapid elasticity.
Correct. So it is a dynamically allocation of the resources. It is a rapid elasticity concept of the cloud that we have seen. And now next question with will be Abhishek. Abhishek, this is your attempt.
Okay. According to NIST, which one are the not essential characteristics of cloud resource pooling, on-demand self-service, multi-tenancy, measured service?
I guess
Wrong,
it's
Abhishek. It is multi-tenancy.
Yeah.
So this is the comparison we have seen. So NIST has given the 5 characteristics. ISC has given the 6 characteristics, and they ask sometimes such silly questions also. So so only these characteristics we need to remember. So NIST has not talked about the multi-tenancy. This has talked about the all 5 characters. Though multi-tenancy is already part of resource pooling, but ISC ask separately one multi-tenancy, and one more difference is that it asks about the repeat elasticity NIST. It asks repeat elasticity and scalability. So this is the Abhishek. So we have to at least remember those 5 characteristics
Yes,
given by.
correct.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Because you haven't revised this. I have just shown you once. So when you revise this PPT, you will able to answer all this question again. So I will share this PPT, you guys. Oh, so this is Abhishek done, Arpit done, and Sharad done. Okay, 3 question done. We'll go to 4th question now. So it will be now. Okay, Karthik. It is for you, Karthik.
Okay. A option.
A option looks very easy. Like rest of the questions are more contradictory. Options are more. So okay, that's fine. So that's for today. We will cover again the remaining concept tomorrow, and we'll cover more questions tomorrow. I will share this PPT over WhatsApp to you guys. And
Okay. So we one question tomorrow. What we'll be covering?
so it will be again the remaining concept of the architecture, like what is
Cloud
a cloud?
computing and
So what is the role of the consumer, auditor, provider, broker, partner, carrier? So we'll cover them. And again, the security of the so it is more like domain 1 will cover some questions, then domain 1 other concept we'll cover tomorrow. Okay.
okay, tomorrow same time.
Same time tomorrow. And I will share the PPT as I mentioned. And if you need because you should start reading yourself also, some reference I give. So you give me one ping on my Telegram. I will share the content PDF to you that you can start reading them.
Okay.
4 days a week, Thursday to Friday, 9 AM to 10:30 these classes. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Ravi. Very insightful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Bye.